Hey, Bob. Nice to see you. Hey.
John Edwards arrived in time for dinner at Fratello's.
We ordered you the anchovy pizza, if that's okay.
No anchovies.
I don't know about anchovies. I don't know about anchovies.
They don't have them in North Carolina.
We have them. I just don't eat them. Is the food good?
Food's excellent.
I've eaten here before. The food's very good. Actually, I wouldn't mind having a scallop.
Happily sharing a couple of bites, Edwards opened it up for questions.
You look remarkably healthy for somebody who leads the kind of life. What do you do to stay healthy?
Well, I run most days. I run 4 or 5 miles a day. It's what keeps me sane.
You ever wake up in the morning during the campaign and go, what am I doing?
Oh, yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Usually you wake up about 3 in the morning, in the middle of the night, also trying to figure out where you are. Because you honestly can't remember where you are.
Do you miss your family a lot while you're out?
A lot. Now, Elizabeth's with me a fair amount. And my kids, who are in public school in North Carolina, we're actually homeschooling them this year so they can travel more with us.
What was your biggest parenting challenge, and would you have done anything different?
Elizabeth and I had our son Wade and our daughter Kate, and my son Wade was killed in an automobile accident in 1996. So we had this, how do you deal with one child left who feels, in Kate's case, feels such a huge responsibility for their parents. And it did feel, honestly, for a while like she was parenting us. Kate was amazing through all that. She was the source of a lot of strength for us. I don't know how we would have done it without her, honestly. She's a smart kid, but she's a good kid. She takes after her mother.
Senator, how's your wife doing? We all, also concerned about her.
Thank you for asking. She's doing real well. She has no symptoms. We're monitoring her health. She feels good. We have testing regularly, and it's all been encouraging. So, knock on wood, it seems to be going very well.
Why don't you just go back to North Carolina and live in a big house?
It would be the easiest thing in the world for me to do. The easiest thing in the world to do would be to go home, enjoy my life, and go sit on a beach somewhere. I cannot live that way. Elizabeth cannot live that way. What you expect from a presidential candidate is, I promise you this, I promise you this, I promise you this. This is what I have to say to you. You have to be willing to sacrifice to make America what it's capable of being.
John Edwards grew up poor in a mill town in North Carolina. He carries those memories with him.
You never forget the things you learn growing up. At least you shouldn't forget the things you learn growing up.
Dad was a role model, a man who didn't go to college but picked up knowledge watching old how-to shows on PBS.
I was always so proud of him for that. One Sunday after church, we went to lunch. He took all of us, the whole family, to lunch. We were all dressed up. I was very dressed up. And we sat down. We got our menus, just like here. And we sitting there, and I was about to choose what I'd eat. And my father said, "We have to leave." And I had no idea what was going on. I said, "What?" He said, "We have to leave. We have to leave now." We put the menus down. I was so embarrassed because I felt like everybody was staring at me. And we went outside. I said, "Daddy, what is that? Why did we do that?" And he said, "I can't pay those prices."
How have you changed from what your father was?
Nothing inside me has changed. Nothing. But I don't have to worry anymore about, if I go out to dinner, whether I can pay the bill.
Who was the best teacher you ever had? What made that teacher?
There was a woman named Iris Burns. She was my high school English teacher. And she just, the best way to describe it is she believed in me. When I was in high school, I was much more interested in sports and girls than in studying. And what happened to me, though, was when I went away to college and I actually was having to borrow the money and work to pay for my way through school, I took it very seriously there.
Of course, there was one girl who piqued his interest. He recalled meeting Elizabeth in law school, asking her out over and over again.
But then I finally got her to go out with me. I'll tell her story. She says, we went out, we went to this dance place. I made her dance with me. It was one of those loud places where you can't even hear anybody talk. And she kept thinking, oh, what a mistake, what a mistake. And we got back to her door, and I said, thank you, and I kissed her on the forehead and left, and she said, that was it, that did it.
I know you're listening to Springsteen on your iPod.
Yes.
Listen,
Well, my wife is like falling in love with Springsteen. She had dinner with him in New York. He sang to her.
What did he sing? What did
She told me, but I don't remember.
Well, my question was going to be if you could have dinner with Franklin Roosevelt, who you've mentioned a couple times, or Bruce Springsteen, who would you prefer to have dinner with?
Oh, I'd probably have dinner with Franklin Roosevelt. Yeah.
Elizabeth would have dinner
But I love,
with Springsteen.
but I love the boss.
What kind of books do you like to read?
I read everything. I have 3 books. John Grisham's new book, which I haven't even started. The columnist for the New York Times, not Friedman. If you say it, I'll know it. Krugman, Paul Krugman's new book. And I've actually read most of that. And the 3rd book I have is a book on Johnny Unitas.
Sports is another passion.
You know, when I can get a nanosecond to watch any college basketball or football on television. All of us are Red Sox fans, not for your benefit. What happened was my children became Red Sox fans because one of their friends was a huge Red Sox fan. And so my son Jack walks around with his Red Sox hat on all the time. So we are Red Sox fans, not Yankee fans.
Edwards got applause as he stood to leave and shook hands before he left for the night.
I have one last question that I never got to ask you.
Sure, you can ask.
Were you in a fraternity?
No.
Good answer.
Strategy aside, are you sure you really want to be president? I mean,
Yeah, I am.
The challenges that are out there. I mean, you're going to get.
I think I was less sure last time. I am 100% sure now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.